it, I kept it unground. Your thumb goes there, and now you've got downward pressure of the rake as it comes off the elbow and the knee. So you can whittle, and the weight is about right.
Surreal. This is what you have in your legend.
It's not heavy.
Yeah.
You can stop it.
Because you can tell a decent plying when you have that that motion, and,
And it's not
comfortable on the
tiring to
hand.
use.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's nothing more than
I've
that.
never seen one like that before. Never seen one like
Golazashi.
Just there, mate.
So
It's
Wakazashi size,
that. Yeah.
and that obviously is go lock.
Ah, there we go. This is what
So that is
That's
rounded there for fingers.
Yep.
That must be 3.5, 4 years ago, that one. Yeah.
What did you have to do in that one? Just I need to find ways. I justifying this to my wife and hiding it until the 2 years come that you can make one. What is going on?
Yeah. But say if I've got spring still, I want a spring back. So it's tempered back. I've got a temper line running across back that down to about there. See this line? That's my guide. So from there and all this here is tempered back to
Is that
spring
Yeah, so
still.
you could, yeah.
Is that your personal one?
Yeah. And
I had to ask.
Yeah. I redid the sheath on Chris Alley. Yeah.
It's a different
That
world, isn't
that
it?
was when I first started.
It's a different world.
Yeah. That's when I first started. And about 2 years later he went, Scott, yeah, Chris, you know your sheaths have evolved? Yeah. Could you do me another one? Yeah, okay. So what I did was I offset, I'd give him 50 for this, but I've got something to put it in to display it. So it saves me doing all the work. So he kept the knife, cut the blade, but had another next generation sheath, which is now about 8 generations back.
That's
Sorry, carry on.
so obviously I should have plus a Scotland, like another trade,
Yeah.
That's what you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Alright guys, Stuart and Alan here for Outdoor Basics, and today we're here with Scott from Wessex Blades. How are you, mate?
Great
Pleased
stuff.
to meet us, mate. Thanks very much for having a chat with us. As you can see, we've got this awesome table, amazing artisan tools, and the craftsmanship that's went into them is unbelievable. Bit of background on it from my perspective. Long story short, as everybody knows, I get out of the military and I started doing a bit of bushcraft and taking my kids out and stuff like that. I then came across some of Darren Funky Preppers videos.
Right, yeah.
Kind of watched some of his stuff, and I thought, you know what, it got me out more with my kids, building survival shelters, doing bits and bobs. And then I came across the UK Preppers 2, the documentary where yourself was on it.
Yeah.
Seen that, and then it all started to piece together with Facebook, Instagram, seen that you were making knives, and I've steadily followed along the kind of progression of what you do and the making of the knives. And like, I don't want to say the incline of the level of ability, because you were always producing great tools, but where you are now, it's unbelievable. Like the sheath work and stuff like that. Out of the sort of tools that you're producing and the blades and that you make, where do you feel, for the prepper community, say for example, what style of knife are they leaning towards most? Are they going for small belt knives? Are they going for the big machete type knives?
It's a complete range. However, if they've got an affinity to a blade that they're buying that's army surplus or something, I can do the alternative version of it. Yeah. Is basically where I stand on them.
Because like for example, your kind of
go a lot, yeah,
your rendition of what this, it's what every soldier wanted it to be, what every guy getting into the jungle or every guy getting into the trees wanted to carry.
But they were issued with.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, and what we're going to do in a wee bit is we're going to kind of maybe have some action shots of the stuff. So see out it, like the bits of a kit that you make, something that really stands out to me is the sheaths.
Certainly,
like, for example, the detail, craftsmanship and work that's went into that it's astronomical. So you were talking about the stitching, how you do the stitching, and
yes.
So could you explain how you do the stitching the way?
Well, the respectful way of going through leather is to drive it apart, like as if you were forging steel. You will drill the steel. Don't go out of your way to drill the leather because you're removing material. So you part it with a tool, a sharp tool. But because I'm going through so many layers, I've got to go through each layer in turn. So
Right.
as it's flat and I've done the artwork, I've punched the holes, it's through. Now I put the next welt on, now I'm punching through the next welt and then the next welt until you finally break through the other side. You can't go through 4 layers at a go in one
You can see
shot.
how
Thick.
thick
Now
that
that
is
is
there.
to give strength and rigidity to turn leather, which is supple, into leather,
Yeah,
which is a guard.
it's protecting
It's
the blade.
protecting for itself and the blade.
Like you were talking about how it's almost like a corkscrew the way you pull it through. It's not like a single stitch, if you know what I mean.
The stitching itself is not simply passed through from opposite sides and, and
that's
pulled
what I mean,
taut. That will be a saddle stitch. What I do is I create a double knot, and then you can pull the knot into the hole.
So into the welt.
So
like this.
inside there is like corkscrewed twice. And then of course on your return, you get to the end and come back on yourself.
Yeah.
3 and 4 stitches. Now
'Cause
you're driving that through.
It's two layers of stitch in there. That must take some time.
Oh yeah, that's half a day.
So from start to finish, on this sheath itself, just
Yeah.
this sheath, including like wet forming and all that sort
4
of other
days.
things, 4 days.
Yeah.
So 4 days work just on the sheath. The amount of craftsmanship that goes into it. So you were saying about this as well, you prefer not to stain that because it stands out more
yeah.
compared to, is it on one of the other ones?
Previous one, no, that,
Is it
yeah.
on this one? The difference on it?
Yeah. I've always wanted my sheaves to be recognised from a distance at a meet,
Yeah.
at the bushcraft show.
Yeah.
You can see it's a Wessex from a distance because most sheaves are simply a bag for a knife.
Yeah.
90% of the time, people are walking around, it's in use. That's what you're seeing. So that to me is my statement, my shout out. Wessex Blades, it's got to be good from the outside before you actually get the blade out itself.
Even at the back. Oh,
It's gotta be as neat as
I know that
possible.
you're getting these close-ups, but for me, I know the knives are amazing, and the knives get concentrated on 110%, and
Yeah.
rightly so. They're fantastic tools.
That's half the system.
Yeah, this is exactly the
Yeah.
point I'm trying to make. This itself is an individual work of art. It's an individual tool, because this is what's going to protect your tool. This is what's going to keep it on your belt, what's going to keep it safe on your belt. You're not going to lose it, and the ability to have, if people talk about a one tool option or a lifetime tool, if I want to be, or a legacy tool that I pass forward in my family, I want it to be encased, protected and carried in something of that quality. So buying a knife and just not really giving a hoot about how it's carried, you're losing the battle there, you're
And you
wasting
can
the
put
time.
so much individuality into that.
You were saying on like some of the guys, like one of the chiefs over there, the guy's last name was it Deer or something?
His surname's Deering.
Yeah.
So he's coming back for a service, this one.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, look at that for a personal touch. Fantastic. Like, and the practicality, the fire steel look on
Yeah.
the side, the dangler if you want to have it higher in your belt, and the stiffness of these. You know your knife's going to
Yeah.
be protected. You know that it's not going to get damaged or come through.
Selecting the antler to curve into sheath.
See, it's all simple things. Look, as he says, the antler curves with a sheath, so that it's not going to get caught on things. It's not going to cause you a problem. The practicality of it is just unbelievable. And that wee tiny detail.
Thank you.
That wee tiny detail on, like you're saying, how you knot that through and pull that through on the sheath.
Yeah, every
That is
stitch locked.
That is a tiny detail that maybe somebody just looking at that would think it's just a pass through. It's just like
Yeah.
that, and it's not. That extra, not minutes, that extra hours of work that goes into that is going to make that.
It's also the pull.
Yeah,
You're actually fighting with it
yeah,
to getting into it.
it's outstanding.
But
Like,
the huge difference for me is machine stitched to hand stitched. You can,
See,
you
you
can
were-
see the
you-
needle walking
yeah.
around corners.
you were
Yeah.
talking about this over there, and this is one like the sort of things I wanted to draw out. You were talking about, you can see when the guy's going round the machine stitch, it's
Yeah.
bumping round it.
Yeah,
Whereas with this, like you say, you're parting the leather, you're not drilling holes in it, and it makes more sense for that long term. And the thought that you're putting into it, where you're working the leather the way you would work the steel.
yeah.
It's not just a right. I need to just get a sheath together for this knife. I think people maybe think that's the way it is. Just get a sheath together. Nah, like
Yeah.
that's that, I mean, that's a lifelong bit of kit really, if you look after it.
And you can make the holes more tightly packed, because once you condition the leather, it swells. To understand that the thread would then get constricted upon.
Outstanding. I'm going to ask you some questions on some of the knives as well. We're going to do that maybe in another segment. But out of these knives, one of the main ones I want to talk about is this. If we can go to this in a minute.
Kurang. A kurang.
A kurang. He done a wee demonstration with this earlier, and I'm going to get him to do it in a minute with the grass, which was madness. It was absolutely madness. And the practicality, the way you can use this knife in the different ways, the thought that's went into this blade is madness. So I'm going to let you talk about it, the various ways of using it in the tool, like what you can do with this knife.
Well, first of all, to be a real kukri, it's got to be thick.
Yep.
So it's 8mm to start with.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing I like with choppers is to bring back the spring steel feel.
Yep.
So as a chopping blade, I would then use a propane torch to bring back the steel temper, the spring steel temper to the handle off the blade, so it will flex, so you don't get shock waves coming up when the handle is in use. A true kukri has proper knee at the top, but what I've done is I left that ungrained. By holding it there, you're now equidistant and the thing's in balance. So you can do any detail work you want there. A touch of recurve, because you can do whittling with recurve. So any fine detail work could be done there, and it balances itself quite happily there. But it will also be used this way around, as like a parang would be used. So you can save your detail, age for detail. You're chopping for chopping, but if you're just going through deadwood, you don't even want to be using a main blade type. So that's a straight utility type parang edge there that you can use this way on.
Yeah.
So going out, you're literally got 3 different tools in one. Detail work that's not exhausting.
See,
power work, and then utility.
One of the things I noticed that when I choked up on it earlier was it doesn't feel like you've got a lump of steel hanging off the back. No. You don't feel that. No. Like you said, the balance within the blade itself is nigh on perfect.
But vertical has also got another balancing point.
Right, okay.
So you literally, yes, it's long, but you're in the middle, and you could be doing all your skinning work with that. It's not a caping blade, no, but it's not exhausting to use.
If people are looking for a truly one-tool option, if they're wanting to go down that road,
anyway on the front, but it's not exhausting to use for the size that it is.
The weight and the balance point within it, like we were saying, for the kind of flick chops.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you don't feel like it's battering. You don't feel like it's battering your forearms and your elbows. It's not jarring you, and that comes with like a wee companion blade here at the front. I'll let you take that.
Sure. So that's a Kellen. In any small twee jobs, because it is a large blade.
So any of the kind of finer things, if you had to, and that comes as a package generally.
Certainly, yeah.
Magical. That really caught my eye. That was a very impressive tool, and we'll maybe get the wee action shot where because I was like, yeah, play it cool, Stu. Don't look like a child, because that was a very cool thing. I was impressed, and then the Gorlock itself. You were talking about the spring in this, how you like.
Yeah,
you still retained the spring itself, whereas it's rounded here as well. So if you wanted to choke up on it, and the swell within that handle as well. You can move forward. Very comfortable, very, very comfortable tool. That
Hawk's head pommel.
Hawk's head pommel.
Yeah, that's what I try and put on a lot of large blades because it stops anything coming off, because you've always got that huge section at the back. You can always tailor it to someone's smaller hands by obviously removing more material or tapering it in at the end. But to keep that profile. Yeah.
For me, I think this, because it is it's not an improved version, it's what it should have been. Yeah, it's what you always imagined it to be. For me, this is the one that 110% catches my eye, that I shouldn't have looked at today, because now I'm going to have to justify things to my wife when I want to place one of these in an order.
I haven't got an excuse, I just make myself one.
So, well, we all can't be master bladesmiths. So, we've got the fire steels as well.
Yeah, that's so the characteristic of the knife handle design is repeated in the ferro rod. However, just simply having one liner, it wasn't good enough, so now evolved to have a central fillet. So, well, a knife handle has 2 liners, so should the ferro rod.
See, the old saying, the devil is in the detail.
Yeah.
The level of attention to detail is astronomical. Like, look at that. Like, it's the simple things. Big glaring things, yeah. It's when a maker or an artisan craftsman starts to point things out that you go, oh my God. And yourself, you start to appreciate what these tools are and what they're capable of. And it all ties into that single package that, yeah, look man, I've never made moans about it. I've never made bones about it. If you want a quality tool from a high calibre maker with a solid reputation, certain things are going to have to happen, right? You're probably going to have to wait. That is what it is.
Yes.
You're going to have to pay. But it all comes back into this one cycle. If you buy crap, you buy twice. And by the time you've messed around buying a cheap bit of kit, not really been happy with it, faffed around with it, broke it, or ended up not using it, got another one, came to the conclusion that it was rubbish, and came full circle again, you'd have been as well getting in touch with somebody like Scott, having an actual discussion in what your true needs are. What is your actual aim with that? Are you a bushcrafter? Are you a survivalist? Are you a prepper? Are you unsure that you don't really know the direction you're going to take, but you want a quality lifelong tool? Well, he's going to be able to guide you in that direction, and because this is the thing when you come to like a quality maker like yourself, you're not going to just get. You're not just going to get sold something.
There's no token blade.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. Yeah.
You're not just going to get. Well, I've got a such and such available now. That's very, very rare. The only way that would generally happen if he's had time to make a wee batch up. You can get away with some, or somebody's pulled out an order at the last minute. That's possible. But generally, you're going to get a discussion on what you really want and what's going to get the best results for you. Once you've done that, you're then going to go into the process of making it. Once it's been made, you can then speak to him at any point and say, could we fine tune that? Could I slightly change that? Could I bring that back? Like, it's a dialogue, and you have an opportunity to get the ultimate tool for you, what you actually want.
Yeah. Quite often, as the orders have gone through, they'll see elements of certain builds and I want that incorporated. I just simply add it to the order, and it evolves. So by the time that they've got their order, it may have changed 2 or 3 times, but as my skills improve, as my processes get more involved, it can and get enhanced as it goes along.
Like you said there, you were, if it's alright to talk about the guy's order, he was saying he's going to be working like
more wet environments. So rather than have a leather sheath and he's taking the blade out, I put a patina on it because as a carbon steel blade, he knew he was in a wet environment. There's plenty of treatment on this, but he's so taken by the leatherwork, he'd rather take it away in more dry environments, and that's fine. So I'm going to make him a kydex sheath for that blade.
See, that's
done.
That's what I'm talking about. That level of communication, because once you've bought a knife,
he bought 4.
There you go. There doesn't need to be another sales pitch there, because they aren't cheap, and rightly so. They shouldn't be cheap. You get what you pay for. It's that simple. A saying that my papa used to say all the time, and I think it's one of the truest sayings ever. A labourer's worth his hire. So for a man to have this level of skill, this level of time, thousands and thousands of hours invested, he deserves to be paid for it. But what do you get in return? You get a quality tool and you get a relationship. Within that relationship, he's come back and says, I'm going to a wetter environment, blah blah blah. There's a patina put in the blade, that sheath's going to be protected, and he's getting a kydex sheath made. It's a level of attention to detail, and it's a level of craftsmanship, and it's a level of ability that if you are truly serious about what you're doing, if you're truly serious about bushcraft, prepping, survival, outdoor wilderness activities, you want to go out there with the best possible kit, the best possible boots, the best possible trousers, the best possible pack, the best possible GPS, whatever it may be. But it all comes down to you get what you pay for. And for me, somebody that's passionate about it, I've got knives from many makers, and I've got knives from many companies, and people go, oh, another knife, and I'm like, because I'm always, yeah, another knife, because my skills as a bushcrafter,
They change.
as a survivalist, as a prepper, my skills change, and if I was the same now and you were the same now as you were 5 years ago, we've wasted 5 years, we've wasted a lot of time there. So what I want for a knife should change, and it should develop and grow. And what that means is with a quality custom made knife, I could say, look man, I was into natural handles, that's now changed. Could I take them off and get this put on or whatever? I've came away from the leather sheath, I'm going to a wetter environment now, could you knock me up a Kydex sheath? That quality relationship is absolutely awesome. So yeah, there's many knives in Scott's range. They're absolutely outstanding. Can I ask for a wee bit of history on like the logo and stuff like that?
Well, a logo. One thing about the community in general is always people who take you under their wing and help you out. So I had a guy from Auckland, New Zealand, and he took me under his wing and he taught me all about thickness behind the edge, geometry, angles, rakes, handle thicknesses, any way to try and bring me on, because it's not simply a bar of steel, there's an edge that end and you've got a handle the other. There's so much more to do it. The steel, the heat treat, what steel you're going to use to start with, is it actually suitable to begin with? And one thing he did was he gave me a gift. He said, what sort of blades are you into? And at the time I'm into Saxon, Viking, and there's elements within it that the names come through. So a lot of mine now are Furian names. So I came up with a simple Saxon helmet of the Sutton Hoo helmet. Very simple. He went away and he came back with the Spartan logo, which works as a tang stamp because it's very defined, very sharp. And that's literally, I thought, Spartan, warrior, yeah, that's me, because I always try and attack things.
Seize the initiative, go forward.
Just grab it, do it. And it suited me, and as it's gone from that emblem to the Spartan helmets on the leather sheaths, that has really moved forward with my, I suppose, persona amongst the groups, because you can tell Wessex sheath because it's got that Spartan helmet. So I'm really glad that it's grown from that.
You said something earlier and it really caught me. A bulldog.
Oh, my face. Bulldog attitude expressed in steel.
I think that sums this up.
Yes.
At 110%, it sums this tool up.
You're inspired to use it.
You're like, when you were slicing the grass and that there and like moving it around, I was like, is there anything we could be? Is there anything we could chop down? It's definitely, I really liked that. So yeah, mate, thanks very much for talking to you about your absolutely outstanding range, your skills, the process, and I hope people can maybe take for this, and what I wanted to get for this is the level of detail in this. I don't think this video or picture's going to do it. It's not going to do it justice, really. Get along to one of the meets, have a look. The level of time, the level of work, the level of effort, the commitment that's went into gaining these skills, never mind making the knives, making the sheaths, making the fire steels, spending the money on all the tools, like heat treating things, all the sort of stuff that it costs a mad amount of money to do. That was what I wanted to convey. His steel speaks for itself at 110%. Like, if you look at it, you can see the quality is absolutely shining from it. The sheaths, I felt I wanted to do justice because they're unbelievable, works of art, and I just wanted to get that across, that sometimes people can maybe be a bit, if a maker asks for a certain price, they recoil. Maybe have a wee think about what you're actually asking for. There's another saying that my pappy would say is, two things you can't get back: time and words. And he's putting his time into it, and he can't get that back.
The box of scrap.
Yeah. So it's definitely that. So hopefully, guys, if you are maybe thinking about a custom knife, get in touch with Scott, get in touch with other guys. Get it done. Come forward. I can't recommend any of these tools highly enough. Having felt them, the quality within it is unbelievable. And I'm going to have a wee play around with some of them. And yeah, it was absolutely outstanding. And his reputation within the community, other bushcrafters, preppers using them hard for years and years and years without any fault, speaks volumes. So yeah, have a think about it, guys. If you're interested, hit Scott up. Where can he find you, mate? What's your Instagram?
I'm on YouTube, Wessex Blades, Instagram, Wessex_Blades, and Facebook.
Sweet. Cool. So just in case your lawnmower breaks down, or you just want to impress everybody at the prepper meet with how awesome your blades are, you can crack a bit of this action. That is an impressively sharp, functional tool. So as always, guys, I've been Stuart, he's been Aaron, you've been awesome. This is Scott, Wessex Blades. Thanks very much, guys.
Cheers.
See you in the next one.